Good morning. Welcome to race day 3. It's Friday here in Newport Beach, California. We're at the Balboa Yacht Club under the GovCup Pavilion, the big tent here that you see in that image, and our welcome slide. Welcome to all of you around the world who are watching this, friends, family, and beyond. Yesterday's morning show, Commodores, ladies and gentlemen, we had a record number of views already. And the views come in as you go on in the succeeding days, but over 1,500 views of yesterday's morning show, believe it or not. What a fine, what a fine audience. It is day 3 of what we call the pre-race morning show. We'll do this again tomorrow and on Sunday, Saturday and Sunday at 0900. Tomorrow is our first day of live racing coverage. That starts at 11:30 Pacific, which is 18:30 UTC. Then we come back in off the race course and have the semifinal press conference. So we'll have the 4 semifinalist skippers here, Andy Rose, 2 at a time with Andy Rose interviewing. And then we'll do the same thing on Sunday, 0900 morning show, 11:30 racing, 18:30 UTC. And then we come back in at 5 o'clock, a couple hours earlier because you're off the water, and we do the final press conference, presser, and then roll right into the awards. Christine Gribben and the Commodore bring the awards out here, and away we go. Speaking of Christine Gribben, please welcome our regatta chair, who will conduct, as usual, the competitors' briefing. Christine Gribben.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? Good this morning? Good. So our weather is going to be about the same, obviously. So the same today as docking. When you come back in, have your boats on the inside main dock like yesterday. It was great. Your gear bags, if you could please store them not down here in this downstairs room, but upstairs in the model room. It's great because downstairs it's the wet gear on the carpet's not so good. Dinner tonight will be tacos right here under the tent. Sarah's going to have it all set up. The chef's going to come down and make you tacos. Other than that, that's what I have this morning.
Any questions for Madam Chair for Life, as Andy calls her? You can get a single of her now, Olivia, if you want, and successively as we bring up others. What should we do next, Christine?
We're going to have Becky come up and we're going to do boat draw.
Becky Lenhart, racing director here at Balboa Yacht Club. Morning, Beck.
All right, Adam, we're going to start with you today.
Nice, Cole.
Number 10, Victor. Sienna. 6, Morgan. 'I know. He's going sailing all nice. Number 2, Dylan. Number 4, Cole. 7, Teo. 5, Justin. 9, Ethan. 12, Josh. 1, Daniel. 8, and Michael. That's it. Number 11. All right. Thank you, Becky.
Anything else? Any questions for Becky? Becky, any other comment? You so quick to get off the stage. Okay. Christine, who's next? Dr. Don?
Dr. Don Becker, please take the stage.
Good morning. My weather prognosticator, Bob Steele, is telling me we're going to have a little more breeze a little earlier, a little more from the southwest today, which is more normal. We're looking forward to that. So I'm going to go have a 11 o'clock start time again. We'll go out and get set up, and we'll start as soon as we have enough breeze to move the boats around. That's all I have.
Dock out went well yesterday?
We're going to try to get at least 6 in today.
All right.
Any questions for Dr. Don? Thank you.
And we'll have our bosun, Director Greg Newman, come up, Dr. Newman.
Professor of Bosunry. What did
I looked it up.
Cole? Huh?
Can't even chat GPT that one.
Morning, Greg.
Morning, Tom, Christine, everybody. Recap on yesterday real quick. Great job. Was happy to report I came back. Nothing really happened that caused any concern for us. So we had a broken jib track, and some people left some things on the boat, but just, be mindful. Everything goes in that bag, that goes in that bucket, except for the tiller extensions. You can leave them on the boat. So there is one that's got a tiller extension in the bucket. Your trash and water bottles, I don't mind emptying those out, but I'm just going to throw them on the plastic lawn over there. So if you're missing your water bottle or anything like that, just come on over and try to find it. Broke a jib track yesterday. Usually how that happens is people will flip the car around when it's very, very, very light and try to put it in that forward hole. You'll just rip the track right off. So, it's part of the design, unfortunately, at the moment. Randy and I have figured out how we're going to fix that so that doesn't happen anymore. Electrolytes, yesterday we blew through a lot of them, so thanks for using that. I'm happy you guys stay hydrated, stay in the shade as best you possibly can. If we're in postponement, I got a comment yesterday from the race committee is right before we went into sequence, or as we went into sequence, we had Lima flags flying, and so go sail your boat around a little bit before we go, so that we can make sure that when they want to get the races started to fire off, we're not out there fixing boats. And then again, if you need us, sail to us, not up to Huntington Beach. NIPSA is the owner of these boats, and we're very, very happy with how so far everybody's been taking care of them. I'd like to acknowledge one person who puts all these boats together, helps us keep them in great shape, takes them all apart and packs them away, and it's RPM Professional Boat Management, boat captain for our boat, Andy. It's okay, his name is, you don't want to meet him, but you should know who he is, and that's Randy Marino over there. Pat's pointing to him. He takes care of a lot of big offshore yachts, and he's down here every single morning at GovCup and every single evening. Again, great guy for the boats. In person, you just don't want to have to deal with him. So as Andy says, it's Randy's charm. So it really is. So again, great job. Looks like you're going to have a little bit better start to the day for Breeze, and I'll see you guys all this afternoon. Thank you.
Now, we did not, Christine, last night, we did not have an umpire debrief. Why?
Because, they all went out, not all, but a lot of you went out sailing on the beer cans. How was beer can sailing last night for those of you who went out sailing? Good? Did you win? Yes. Okay, good.
I think Cha-Cha-Cha won the night.
Because they had 30 sailors on board with probably 10 life jackets.
Speaking of which, we're going to have your sister,
Yes,
the
Kate,
chump. What's chump stand for?
Chief umpire.
Katie Maxim. Good morning, Katie.
Good morning, Tom.
And one of your deputies, the esteemed Damien
Baldy-Roo.
Ballaroo from Australia, who
Will
was
be
last year's
assisting this
chump.
morning.
He's hiding behind your board there. Nice shot, Olivia. Thanks if you can get the board in there. And Katie, are you going to conduct this?
I am. Watch
Are
out.
there any questions from the competitors? We had one in the check. Yes.
All right, Teo, why don't you come on up? And also, if you can bring up the other skipper. So this incident happened in flight 12, match 4.
Yeah. So we were in the pre-start, and I would say,
Excuse me, Teo.
yeah,
You've got an audience here. There you go, and you got a camera. Nice.
yeah. So we were in the pre-start. I would say it was maybe around 50 seconds left. We were in the green boat. The Irish were here in the yellow boat. And I would say we were in a controlling position here. If they came down, we would block their jibe. If they come up, we can tack on the inside of them. So what happened here was that they went for the jibe. We went on the inside. They got flagged because they didn't make the jibe in time. So then were forced to jibe on the inside. And after this, they ended up in the controlling position here. So at this point, there was around maybe 30 seconds left. They could keep us up. We went on the inside of the boat here. They still had overlap. And in the end, we started like we were pinned up so they could accelerate. And we started behind them. And they had a penalty. So my question is, what is needed for them to get a double penalty or a red flag penalty in this situation, since they gain an advantage or a controlling position from taking a penalty?
Great. Adam, why don't you come on up and tell us what you saw in the incident?
Yeah, well, that's pretty much exactly what happened. We thought we could get the jibe off. It was not close. Definitely deserved a penalty. We thought that there was enough. We were far enough away that there was probably another incident in the luff. I talked to the umpires afterwards, and they said they were out of position, but probably I would have got another one in 16 if I luffed hard enough. So I'm glad I didn't do that. And then the only other question I had from that was ended up pretty high, so we were coming in, and I didn't think we could keep the overlap if we went over. So we tried to go under the committee boat, thinking that we didn't have to give room. And then obviously we did end up giving room as we came down. And my question was, my question after the race was, is this an obstruction when we're coming downwind to it, which I was told it was in the call. And that's not something I knew before the race.
Okay, great. And now at this point, we're going to bring the umpires up. So either Patrick or David, come on up.
Last names and country, please.
This is Patrick Burks from the USA, and David Pelling was his other umpire on board from Canada.
Hi, guys. Thanks for bringing this question up. So I think we all agree on the facts of the initial situation. The reason that we didn't make it more than a single penalty is the way we saw it. Even though they did end up directly out of that in a position they could have kept you out, they ended up going below, allowing you still to be to windward and or breaking a boom. Stash that there. We felt that, first of all, under the rules, we're supposed to consider an additional umpire-initiated penalty first. The most objective criteria for that is that the other boat ends up in a position that, after considering the first penalty, they're still advantaged. So we saw you guys as close enough on the start that if they did take their penalty right then, they would be behind you. So that crosses that off as an option. We still have sportsmanship and deliberate as possibilities. Those are a lot more subjective for us umpires to decide. In the moment, we didn't get to a point of certainty that we felt those criteria were met. So then we go on to the possibility of a red flag penalty, a gain of control. And as you point out, initially, up here, had they gone over the top of the committee boat and held you out, that would have been a pretty good nail in the coffin for us to say that is a red flag penalty, because we can give the initial penalty, see how things actually turn out before we decide on the red or an additional penalty. The way everything did shake out, we felt that they were, or that the penalized boat was not in a controlling enough position. Right off the start, there's times where we'll actually say boats are in more or less a neutral position. Sometimes the lead boat can't tack out, but they're not in enough contact that while this boat might choose to go this way, under what we're given in call E8 for a definition for controlling position, we don't feel like it met that criteria.
Thank you, Patrick. Gentlemen, any other questions?
All good. That was a really good explanation.
Great. Thank you so much. Competitors, any other questions from the audience? Front row first.
Sorry, I don't know if you answered this, but
Mike, stand up. Stand up.
You have to be on camera too.
is this an obstruction if you're going downwind? Like, do you have to give room? Like he was asking when they're overlapped. Like, is this committee boat, like, you have to give room to your competitor?
So the rule says, or the call on it, well, back up. The rule book itself says that 19 and 20, the obstruction rules, don't apply when boats are approaching to start. Match racing, and pretty much all umpired racing, we also add into that last point of certainty. Until both umpires agree that that the match is on final approach, this is still an obstruction. There's a couple calls or a call with a couple questions that go over a couple different situations for approaching the committee boat. The way we saw it was that it was setting up so high on the committee boat that we weren't certain that it was necessarily the final approach. Plus, by the time this boat tried to do anything about the other boat going in there, they were locked by the committee boat. They had nowhere else to go.
Thank you.
Awesome, great question. Come on up. That answered your question.
Perfect.
All right. Anything else? Go, Will. Good. Oh, yes, come on up. Daniel Kemp, everyone.
Yeah, we just had it didn't involve another boat, but when we were entering we're port entry, we're coming in for our entry here, and the mark set bot was coming down a lot, and so we had to chase the mark set bot down. And we were actually in a bit of a gust, so it didn't actually make too much of a difference in the end. We're maybe 3 seconds late, but we were wondering, like, if that had been a lull, or if we'd been further away and it had gone further and been faster, and we'd been late to our entry there, would that be grounds to either abandon the race or make another action from the umpires?
That would be at the discretion of the PRO and with input from the umpires if the umpires felt that you were disadvantaged to a point where we would request redress for you. Okay, so they are watching that, and if the line sighter says, oh, the bot's moving 10 degrees or more beyond its regular adjustment, they would take that into consideration.
So is there a rule of thumb where
No.
the bots don't move, or they can move whenever?
The bot's like any other mark. Even a mark at anchor moves, right? It can get a big wave, and a mark will push down and readjust, even on its anchor line. So the bots are great, and Dawn can answer that for you.
My instructions to the umpires are if the bots in any way involve a situation in the race where the competitor is disadvantaged, they're to call me and tell me, and I'll blow the race off.
Terrific.
Great.
Thanks.
Thank you, Daniel. Anything else? And thank you, Dawn. All right, Tom.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Katie. Katie Maxim, the chief umpire. And before we let you go, Christine, we're hearing from Larry Kennedy in the chat. We got a lot of chat from all over the world. Larry Kennedy, who's Colin's dad, GovCup alum, veteran, and he, of course, does a lot of race committee work. And he's saying that the umpires, Burks and Pelling, I have trained them well. Shout out to the umpires. And he's also saying, you know, he loves the traditional mark set instead of the mark set bots. Oh, the boys. Oh, the bots. Okay, thanks, Larry Kennedy. Thank you for that. Christine, anything else?
No, that's it. Have a great day out on the water. Sail fast, sail well.
Thank you, Christine Gribben. And next, Next is Andy Rose coming up for our guest skipper segment here this morning. And while we're doing that, I'm going to read to you the press release from last night. The headline of which is Race Day 2, Justin Callahan, USA remains undefeated with Josh Hyde from New Zealand in hot pursuit. Defending champ Cole Tapper of Australia loses 3 matches to his rivals in Thursday's light conditions, but he remains tied for third with Morgan Pinckney. By the way, I have greetings to Cole Tapper and the other Aussie teams from your president, or past president, immediate past president of sailing, Australian sailing, Alistair Murray, who's watching carefully. He sends his regards. By the way, youth sailing is going to be, or sailing has just been announced as going into the Commonwealth Games, the upcoming Commonwealth Games, for all you young sailors who are Anglos. Just the opening paragraph. Andy drafts the press release, and then it gets massaged, and thanks again to Susan Watson-Kenny, who sends it out. Newport Beach, keen observers of the 59th Governor's Cup International Youth Match Racing Championship predicted that the returning semifinalist from 2024, defending GovCup champ and 2024 Youth World's champ, Cole Tapper, along with Josh Hyde and Justin Callahan, those are the returning semifinalists, along with Morgan Pinckney, who's twice been third in the GovCup, that they would be at the top of the leaderboard and among the favorites in the 2025 GovCup. After day 2, those predictions have largely held true. However, the leaderboard looks a bit different than expected, Andy, with Tapper suffering losses to all 3 of his closest rivals in yesterday's racing. The press release goes on from there, but let's get on with our guest skipper segment. And today we have, based on their performances yesterday, Andy, Morgan Pinckney, and Theo Westerland. Please welcome to our GovCup stage, Morgan and Theo.
Welcome, guys. Cole, in the press release, I just try to, there's a saying that any publicity is good publicity, so I just thought I'd feature you. Gentlemen, well, these 2 are up here. I'm not sure why. Tom says I agreed to it last night, but I don't really remember. But at any rate, there are a couple of stories here. One, that Morgan is one of the teams tied with 8 wins. And then, of course, Justin's ahead with 12, with Josh right behind him. So, Morgan, you're still definitely in the hunt, but I think maybe the best performance by a rookie in the Governor's Cup is you, Theo. With 7 wins, you're still in the hunt with 9 races to go. What did you guys were doing some really good things. I noticed that we have Jeffrey Peterson over here, and we always said the worst place you ever want to be is 2 boat lengths ahead of Jeffrey at the weather mark, because he invariably would pass people. Well, that was you yesterday. What's up?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm a bit surprised myself. We came into this event not being we didn't know too much about spinnaker sailing, since we usually just do the asymmetrical ones in Sweden. So that's what I thought would be our biggest thing to work on. But for some reason, I must have brought a very good crew. So they've done a very good job, and yeah, I think it's mostly on them, to be honest. I just sit there and listen to what my trimmer and Bauman says and steer that way.
That's very wise. Let me ask you, because when we had these boats designed, the first group, the Governor's Cup 21s, and then these boats, I talked to my friend Dave Perry, who is a 5-time U.S. champion and Congressional Cup winner and all those kind of things, and I said, should we use ASOs or symmetrical spinners? And without a pause, he said symmetrical. It's match racing. You've got to have symmetrical. I agree with him. I think it is harder. There are less tactics involved when you're using ASOs. It's harder to pass. Do you agree with that?
I mean, I feel like it's very grown on me a lot. I also have a coach here that's sitting in between races, just screaming at me for, how can you drive there, Theo? You should never let them pass on that side. And he just goes over every scenario, like, okay, if you have them here, you got to drive there. Right. So every time we make a mistake, we hear him and we try to not do the same. So that's also a big factor, I think.
That's his, yeah, Marius, are you here somewhere? Yeah. Hi, Marius.
And how about his crew too, Teo? How about your crew?
Oh yeah, my cruise. I see Aiden right here. He can stand up maybe. This is my bowman right here. I think my trimmer has gone and started rigging the boat. So
Or in the bar or something.
yeah, maybe in the bar.
Yeah, right. Well done. And as I said, you're only 2 points out of the territory where these guys are, and that's not a lot going into 2 more days of round robin racing. Well, Morgan, you had sort of I wouldn't say an up and down day without much down. You beat Cole in that race, which was really important, and then I think you lost to Josh immediately after that.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I think on the pre-start we were pretty happy, and then it was just out here in Newport, sometimes you got to pick a side, and I think I'm good at it, and apparently I'm not that good at it.
Well, I think nobody is perfect at that. It does with that southerly 10 and the late marine layer burnoff. It's very shifty, as you noticed, and so the fact that you got it right most of the time is pretty impressive because it's hard to do. There are really little shifts, and it's almost as much the patches of wind than it is the shifts. You can sail right out of the breeze, very quickly. Morgan, I noticed with you, the thing I thought was most impressive with you yesterday was at the pre-starts, you would come out of the tacks and jibes much better, almost invariably, than the other boat.
Yeah, we have some thick guys on the boat. So we got that weight to throw around, and the boat accelerates and responds really well when Kelly presses on the weather side.
Yeah, it looked like you would gain at least a half a boat length every time you did that with whoever your competitor was, and that's a big advantage. So the rest of you that weren't doing that well at that, just before, if you're waiting to start, watch his start and see how that works because he's pretty good at it.
Morgan, how about your crew? Can you ask your crew to stand as well? Are they here?
Stand, guys.
And introduce them, please.
This is Kelly Holthus, Cam Spriggs, and Alice Schmidt.
Hello, everybody. Yay. I don't have much more.
I think we should let them get to their boat so they can dock
Yeah.
out at 10 o'clock. Dr. Don says he's going to try to get started again at 11 o'clock today. And then, of course, tomorrow we're live covering the racing, and that'll start at about 11:30 Pacific time. Gentlemen, do you have anything else to say here on the stage?
I think Andy's afraid of getting got.
Getting what?
Getting got.
God.
Not asking many questions. He's a little quiet this year.
Yeah, well, it's morning. I'll get to it. If you're still, doing well, I'll get you at the press conferences. And if not, then who gives a shit whether I'm on or not,
Andy Rose.
Let me say one more
Oh,
thing.
please.
The good news was, as was announced, that there was really no significant damage to any of the boats. But there were a lot more collisions yesterday than there were the day before. Please don't do that. And what I said a few years ago when it got pretty, we had a lot of that. Collisions can hurt the boat, and we only have 12 of them. So I guess what I said before is still true. If you are not absolutely positive that you can do a maneuver, don't do it. That's how you'll end up in a collision. So please don't break our boats, okay? Other than that, I think the prediction's going to be right. It is getting a lot lighter here, which means the marine layer is starting to burn off. So should be a good day, everybody. Thank you.
Andy Rose, Morgan Pinckney, Teo Vescoin, thank you very much. And that brings us to the conclusion of this. I've got this scoreboard up. By the way, we'll circulate that as well online on the Facebook and YouTube, Facebook channels as well. That wraps up today's Day 3, our pre-race morning show for Friday, August 1st. We hope to join us tomorrow, same time, same channels. Gentlemen, thank you very much. And we'll see you tomorrow morning. Our next show is at 0900, tomorrow, Saturday.
Pretty tame so far this year. Someone tell you your real name or something?